It's a cold night tonight at Paradise. It's below freezing, but hopefully Brendan Rodgers, Scott Brown and the boys can inject some heat into proceedings with the 3 points against St Johnstone. This is a game that these players and the supporters here have been waiting on for weeks, for months. This is the game in hand that if Celtic win will take us 6 points clear at the top of the SPFL table. It is an important one. It's one that we've all been looking forward to. I'm sure you have as well. It's a 7:45 kick-off our time, so just under half an hour until the game against St Johnstone gets going. Simon Donnelly, former Celtic striker, is with me pitchside tonight. Before I get Simon's thoughts, let's go straight to the team news then, and we'll see exactly who Brendan Rodgers has selected to play this game tonight. It will be Scott Bain in goal, a back four of Lustig, Simunovic, Ayer and Izagiri. Scott Brown in the holding role in midfield behind McGregor and Christie. Forrest and Sinclair on either wings, with Oliver Burke starting up front. On the bench for Celtic, Gordon, Bitton, Hayes, Henderson, Johnson, Edward back in the squad, good to see him back, and Timothy Weah. Simon Donnelly, your thoughts on that team?
Yeah, a couple of changes again. Obviously Burke back in to start instead of Weah, Forrest back in instead of Johnson from the weekend. Through no real fault of their own, they've found themselves back on the bench, just a little freshen up, and obviously the enforced one at the back with Simunovic for Benkovic. But again, there's enough in that team, experience in the back four and midfield to front again should cause St Johnstone problems tonight.
When we look at the table, well, you can see that it's only Celtic and St Johnstone who have played 22 games, every other team on 23. This is the only SPFL Premiership fixture tonight, so this is the crucial game in hand that could take Celtic 6 points ahead of Rangers. St Johnstone in the top six, and their away record in terms of form is top in terms of the league, so there will be no pushovers tonight. Having said that, Simon, recent history, Celtic going up there and putting 6 in would suggest that the boys should be confident going into this one.
And that was probably a turn in the form for Celtic that particular game. I think the club went on a fantastic run on the back of the 6-0 game at McDermott. There was a difficult game up there in the League Cup as well, so I think it'll be a difficult game tonight. St Johnstone have found a bit of form, started a wee bit sluggishly this year, similar to Aberdeen, but find themselves back up in the right half of the league, so I think it's going to be a difficult one, but as I say, midfield to front, Celtic have got enough there to go and damage St Johnstone.
We'll have a look at some of the key figures in a couple of minutes. First though, let's hear from the manager, Brendan Rodgers. He's been speaking to John Ledwith.
Brendan, it feels like an important night tonight, a game in hand that's been in the making for quite some time. How important is it we take advantage of that tonight?
Well, that's the idea. I think our home games we've played very, very well. We've played different types of games, but tonight's a real severe test for us because St Johnstone are, up until now, been the best away team in the league with the points that they've taken and how well they've played. So, and they'll look to want to bounce back from a disappointing result at the weekend. But again, for us, it's just starting very strong, starting quickly, and getting that speed into our game. And if we can do that, then we know we can create chances.
It's one creation for another at the back. Joseph Simunovic comes in and Filip Benkovic drops out. I know the fans are interested to know how Benkovic is, but having someone like Joseph coming in must be a boost.
Yeah, well, Philippe's going to be out for a period of time. He has another scan on his foot, so we're just going to have to assess that.
And looking up front, Ollie Burke, it's a return for him. Very good when he came on Saturday, and you'll be hoping for much more of the same.
Yeah, he's made a really bright start. He's taken on board a lot of the ideas and how we play. We see speed in his movement is terrific, and he looks like he's going to score, at least a goal a game. So hopefully he can do that tonight. And I know he's really enjoyed his time, but we want to continue developing him, and obviously that'll benefit the team.
Looking to the bench, there's more good news with the return of Odsonne Edouard. You must be pleased to see him back in amongst.
Yeah, been out for a long time, and it's nice just to see him, be back in around it, and watching him in training. He just reminds you of the real quality that we've been missing since he's been out of the team. So beyond the bench, we need to get him on later to get some action in. That's what we look to do. So to have that level and that quality to bring into the game is obviously very important.
Well, good luck tonight, Brendan.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan.
Brendan Rodgers keeping us right up to date with how his team is and how his squad is. Burke and Weah, the two players that have come in this month, and they've kind of been thrown straight into it. In other circumstances, the manager might have liked to kind of keep them back for a little bit, but because of Griffiths not being available, and of course Edouard being injured, they've come in, but they've come in and they've done a job.
they've come in and made an impact straight away, Jerry. You know, I think the first half of Burke's first game, you know, he found a wee bit difficult to get used to things at Celtic, but obviously struck a couple of goals in his second game, settles in. Ware's picked off a goal in either of the games he's come off the bench. I think we touched on it at the weekend, just the way the game started and the pattern of the game in the first 45 minutes. Timothy Ware struggled to make any impact. You know, he had a 1v1 with the keeper, but there was very limited space. And the two games before that, when he came on, that's where he was finding, you know, space in behind, and a couple of fantastic passes picked him out for his goals. So it's been a wee bit of mixture there, but you can't complain the impact the two boys have made. In
terms of Burke, he starts tonight. What does he bring? What are his attributes that he brings to that striker role?
Pace and power. You know, I mean, I didn't realise how big he is. You know, and he's a big, strong lad who's probably been more familiar to play on the flanks in his early career. But at 21, you know, he's came here to work under Brendan and the staff here, and a platform at Celtic Park, and I think he's going to go from strength to strength. As he said, he gets a couple of goals to settle himself into the team, and he's back in tonight to start. So, you know, he's got all the attributes there. I've said from the minute he walked in the door, big, strong boy with pace, learning the game still, as you do at 21, and there'll be more goals for him.
He's naturally quite a shy personality, quite reserved off the pitch, but you can sense with some of the quotes recently. I read an interview in the Celtic View that he's beginning to get infected by this you know, the whole aura around here, and you can see he's really enjoying it.
Yeah, and I think Timothy Ware said the same, you know, in the back of scoring his first goal. But I mean, I played with a lot of guys. I was relatively shy myself when I played football, but you're more confident when you're on the pitch, and I think Burke might be the same. You know, I think that's his comfort place, that's where he wants to be, that's what he's always, you know, dreamt of playing, and no better platform than Celtic Park to come and learn his trade here in a successful Celtic side.
It's 3 games and 10 goals since we've come back from the winter break, and a clean sheet in all of those games as well. Let's take a look back at the highlights from the most recent win, that 3-0 victory against Hamilton Accies.
Over the halfway line with Izagiri down that left flank, fires it through looking for Timothy Ware, and again Kilgallen gets a touch only as far as McGregor. Johnson edge of the box, and he's challenged there by Dougie Imrie. Another silly challenge from Imrie. He's given Celtic a free kick right on the edge of the area.
Yeah, absolutely crazy challenge from Imrie there. You know, Mickey Johnson up against the defender and going absolutely nowhere.
He steps forward, fires it, comes off the wall, straight back to Christie. Mikey Johnson on the overlaps, back to McGregor. McGregor takes a shot. It's in, it's through the net, and he's nutmegged the goalkeeper. I think he was unsighted. McGregor's shot was in target. He's done so well, Ryan Fulton, up to now. He can hardly believe his misfortune. I think it took a slight deflection. It squirmed under the goalkeeper, through his legs. We'll see it again. Well, not sure if he just took his eyes off the ball. Well, that's a nightmare from a player who's had such a good first half, but with 40 minutes on the clock, Celtic have the breakthrough, 1-0. Well, the fans urging the team on. Sinclair, edge of the area, drives into the penalty area. Still Sinclair. Takes the left-footed cross, it's blocked. Celtic with another corner.
Yeah, just non-stop just now, just waiting to get this opportunity.
Taken quickly, Christie to his captain. Switched across now to Lustig. Lustig left-footed. Cross just beyond Christie. It's off his knee. Another fumble from the goalkeeper. Well, he's been hero and villain for Hamilton. He's villain again. He dropped the ball, and the left knee of Ryan Christie's made it 2-0 to Celtic.
Well, I think that's a perfect summation of the goalkeeper's performance. He's been outstanding at moments, but on that occasion the ball just bounced in front of him. He couldn't quite take it. And like a good striker and a good player that Ryan Christie is, he followed it in, much like Scots and Clare's been doing recently.
Goal Celtic, and the scorer, number 17, Ryan.
Now across to McGregor. Beat on, perhaps a shot. No, instead he offers it to Brown. Brown thought about sliding it through to Burke, instead gives it to Lustig. He curls it to the far side looking for Sinclair. It's in the back of the net. Scott Sinclair again. He scored goal number 13 for the season. He doesn't score too many with his head, but it was perfect cross and a pinpoint header from the Englishman beyond Ryan Fulton. Celtic lead here Half-time, 3-0.
Yeah, a better reflection in the scoreline, given the 3 goals. And that was a beautifully worked goal from Celtic, coming from both sides, left to right. Eventually a beautifully timed cross from Michael Lustig and finding the unmarked Scott Sinclair to the back post.
So a convincing win there against Hamilton in the last game. We spoke, Simon, about the pace of Birkin and Weir, but on the wings for Celtic we've got 2 guys tonight in Forrest and Sinclair who have got pace, but they've also got a goal threat. I mean, we saw James Forrest getting 4 against St Johnstone at McDermott Park. You know, that must just not be what you want if you're a defender.
No, and the 2 boys have been fantastic servants to the club over the last few years, you know, and we touched on Sinclair before with 56 goals now, I believe.
Incredible,
for
yeah.
Celtic. It is incredible, and James, the form he's been in this season's equally as incredible as Scott's goal scoring feat, but both of them bring experience to it, you know. James has come right through the ranks here, and alongside 2 or 3 of the other ones, keeps the Celtic identity, you know, the homegrown players alongside the guys that come in. It's fantastic to see him go from strength to strength, and his medal haulage here is incredible as well. You know, he's played in big games for Celtic, scored in finals. So for that experience, for this run-in, you know, in the title race, it's really imperative that these 2 are 2 of the mainstays for Celtic.
For the supporters, and of course I mentioned it at the top of the programme, that this is a game in hand and the chance to go 6 points clear. Will the players themselves be keenly aware about that? Will that somehow give them an extra impetus tonight if they need it?
I would be. I would have that, you know. It's just to go and mark the card of everybody else, you know, who thinks they're touching Celtic, getting close, to go and stretch it to 6 points. I think it's a good marker, and I think the players are aware of that.
Well, of course, the man between the sticks in the last few games is Scott Bain. He's not really put a foot wrong, and I got a chance to catch up with Scott Bain up at Lennoxtown through the week for an exclusive interview. Here it is. Scott, almost a year to the day since you actually signed for the club. You're playing regularly now. How is that? How much are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I've had to be patient, and it's probably more than I expected when I joined a year ago to get a wee run of games in the team. But I think it's just shown great trust from the manager, and I'm just looking forward to repaying him.
Something I've always wondered is outfield players get rotated quite a lot. It's not unusual for a player to be playing and then be on the bench. It's not that way with goalkeepers. Why is that?
I don't know, I think sometimes they like a bit of continuity at the back and a little understanding between centre halves and goalkeeper, and especially the way that we play from the back, there obviously needs to be an understanding between the goalkeeper and the back 4. But I think here all the goalkeepers prepare every week as if they were going to be playing on the Saturday, so it's not really a surprise if you get put in.
Yeah, but from your mindset, it must be a different mindset when you decide to try and make a career as a goalkeeper, because there's far more professional goalkeepers in the world than there are teams, so it must be a completely different mindset. You must have to prepare for the fact that you might go through a whole season and only play a handful of games.
Yeah, I think it's more for myself. I didn't want to run about outside, so going in goals seemed a bit easier. But yeah, I think being a goalkeeper, you need to back yourself 100%, that you know that you can play for whatever club you're going to.
When did you decide that goalkeeping was going to be for you? Because when we see you're clearly comfortable with the ball at your feet, and some people have asked me, did Scott used to play outfield? Because you do look comfortable. What was your background away early on? When did you just decide to put the gloves on?
Yeah, I think I was roughly about 14 when I started playing in goals. But I've always been a bit of a frustrated outfield player. So being here and getting to join in possession day to day is great.
What was your outfield position? Where was your strength?
Probably, I would say sitting midfielder and just pass the ball a bit. Yeah. No much running. Like Bruni.
Like Bruni, but it's kind of like the role of a goalkeeper has developed into almost that role anyway, because you tell us, how much has it developed over even just recently, the last sort of 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, I think I've been really fortunate that obviously the manager's here, and that football is evolving into the way where the goalkeeper needs to be better with his feet, and it's more about passing instead of just kicking the ball as far as you can. So it's been great to watch, and it's been great for myself.
Did Manuel Neuer, did he start that trend? Was it kind of naturally his strength and it worked?
I think it was more probably when Pep Guardiola started coming in, and I've seen a lot of interviews where he said that if you use the goalkeeper as an outfield player, then you've automatically got one more than the other team, so you can keep possession a little bit better.
This is 110 years ago this week. John Thompson, the Prince of Celtic goalkeepers, was born. Do you ever, you're the one in the jersey just now, do you ever let your mind wander to, to these great figures of history and how you can perhaps make little bits of your own history?
Not really. I think for myself, so far it's been a case of if I get a game and when I get a game is to do my best for the team. And I really need to take it week by week. I know how quickly football moves and it changes, so I think it's difficult to picture yourself in the same sort of category as these guys.
We talk about the goalkeepers union, and we know that you and the other goalkeepers are really close here. When Craig was in goals, you guys supported him. I take it that's been the same since you've taken over.
Yeah, of course, nothing's really changed in training. We still speak the same. We still give advice, and I'll always go to Craig and ask for advice on things if I'm not sure about.
What kind of mentality do you need to be a goalkeeper? People say, goalkeepers are they're a bit crazy. They're a different breed. What is the mentality that you've got that perhaps the outfield players don't?
I think at this club that it's less crazy and more calculated, and you need to be confident and you need to be chilled, because the atmosphere at times is electric. So you need to be calm and collected, that when you get the ball you're not going to do anything rash, you're going to do what needs to be done.
When the ball is up the other side of the pitch, do you know what you have to do? Do you have a role there? Because a lot of the time, Celtic goalkeeper playing domestically, you can be far away from the ball, but quite quickly you may be called into action. Is it a task to keep your concentration?
Yeah, 100%. I think, like you say, at this club there is times where we've got the ball in the opposition half for a long time, so it's all about staying connected to the defenders in front of you and always concentrating, because you never know if the ball gets played in behind, you could be out there to keep the flow going of the game.
I suppose a great example of that was the one against Airdrie recently, where we had the ball and then all of a sudden it was up the other end and you were called upon to make that great save, or double save, triple save, quadruple save, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the life of a goalkeeper at Celtic, is you might have nothing to do for an entire game, and just that one split second where you can be called upon to keep the team in the game. So you always need to be on your toes.
Massive game against St Johnstone. It's kind of a game that we've been looking forward to, because this game in hand that Celtic have had has been there for weeks, a couple of months. Now it's here. Are you guys really focused on the fact that this is an opportunity to get 3 points where no other teams are playing?
Yeah, it's obviously a really important game for us. I think we're going into every game now as the mindset of a cup final, and we want to win every game. We know how important it is, 3 points every week now. So yeah, it's a really important game, and we're all fully focused on it.
Now that we're getting to the business end of the season, second half of the season, when the pressure gets ramped up, do you get the feeling that the boys are showing that the experience that they've got in this environment is showing?
Yeah, 100%. I think since I've been here, every time it's been a high pressure game or a big game, the lads always show up and show up well. I think the team here is suited to these big occasions and these big games, and going into every game now as if it's a cup final is great for us.
Great to talk to Scott, and thanks to him for giving us his time this week. Fascinating insight into the world of a modern goalkeeper, and we saw how good Scott is with the ball at his feet. We know that all modern goalkeepers need to be like that just now, but it's interesting to hear him say he's just a frustrated sitting midfielder.
Yeah, I'm just impressed with the way he pulled the ball out the air here against Airdrie in the Cup. It's a fantastic touch that I would have been proud of myself, but more importantly, he's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's handled any occasion really well when he's come in. Craig Gordon's obviously the number one, and it's difficult for keepers, to try and push their way in. But whenever he's been in the starting 11, he's never let anybody down.
I just wonder what the goalkeepers that you played with would have made of this kind of modern day sweeper keeper. Packy Bonner, Gordon Marshall, Jonathan Gould, those kind of players.
Gordon Marshall was actually very good with the ball at his feet. Maybe ahead of his time in that sense. Packy, not so much, a fantastic goalkeeper. Jonathan Gould again, but a real mixed bag. I played with a guy, Stuart Kerr here, who came through the ranks, who struggled with the ball at his feet. So it's totally different nowadays. I mean, you look at likes of Man City and Liverpool's keepers are almost sweepers. And our two guys are quite accomplished with the ball at their feet, so
It's interesting actually what he said about Pep Guardiola. Maybe it just took someone to go, actually, see if the keeper comes out, then we've got 11 outfield players and the other team have got 10.
Yeah, you can say it that way. I just get frustrated sometimes when they maybe take a risk too many, you know, because you're the nearest guy to the goal, and if you get caught out, it's inevitably ending up in a goal. So they just need to be careful. But as I say, I go back to that one that he pulled out there, the middle of the park there. I'm impressed with that myself.
You can see the lights beginning to flash around Celtic Park. The light show will begin very shortly. Don't worry, you won't miss a second of that. Let me just run through the starting 11 for you one more time. Brendan Rodgers has gone with Scott Bain in goal. A back four of Lustig, Simunovic, Ajer and Izagiri. Scott Brown, the Celtic captain, in there in the holding midfield role. Callum McGregor and Ryan Christie just ahead of the captain. James Forrest in one wing, Scott Sinclair in the other wing, and Oliver Burke up front. On the bench for Celtic tonight, it will be Craig Gordon, Near Beaton, Johnny Hayes. It will be young Ewan Henderson, delighted to see him sign a new deal for the club. He's impressed lately. Mikey Johnson on the bench, so too Odsonne Edouard back in the squad after an injury layoff, and Timothy Weah. Right, the lights are down. You want to see the light show, so let's have a look at it, and then we'll hand over to your commentary team after that of Paul Currahy and Tom Boyd.
At the end of the storm,
Spectacular light show culminating in the strains of You'll Never Walk Alone. What a perfect way to start the evening here at Paradise. It's Celtic versus St Johnstone. We are minutes away from kick-off. Of course, this is Celtic's game in hand. A win tonight and we go 6 points clear at the top of the Premiership. The target, Tom Boyd, is absolutely clear.
Yes, and that's what we want to be. We want to put that little bit of cushion between us. As much as we talk about getting a 2-goal lead within a game, and it gives you that little bit of cushion, getting a 6-point lead would also give you that, and it takes you away that a team would need to win a couple of games, or we would need to lose something for them to overtake us. So I think that was just a sign of us going from strength to strength and putting the marker down for going for this 8 titles in a row.
Brendan Rodgers makes 2 changes to the starting 11, which beat Hamilton at the weekend. Scott Bain retains his place in goals. A back 4 this evening of Mikael Lustig, Christopher Ajer. He'll be partnered by Jozo Simonovic, who replaces the injured Filip Benkovic. Emilio Ezagiri left back. Scott Brown, who is just leading the team out as we speak. The Celtic captain, of course, the St Johnstone captain Joe Sonesy. Scott Brown anchors the midfield. Alongside him, Callum McGregor and Ryan Christie. James Forrest on the right, Scott Sinclair on the left. And starting this evening in place of Timothy Weah, it's Oliver Buck. So a very strong side again for Celtic. And of course, the first of 3 games against St Johnstone in the space of 12 days.
Yes, and sometimes you don't quite get up the 9 points. I won them with a cup game though, so it'll be 6 points in a victory. But I think we want to go and try that. I think the form we're in, we want to show, obviously, since the winter break. I think players are coming looking refreshed. Obviously, the challenge, the new challenge from Weah and Burke have certainly added that. Both have had massive impacts when they've come off the bench. Maybe that's why Timothy's this team, they're working between each other. But I think Oliver Burke probably would prefer the one who'd be leading the line and starting, and maybe showing that a wee bit of better sign.
Well, the light show, of course, the light's still shining down just on the players there as they lined up and shook hands, and now shaking hands with the referee, who is Greg Aitken tonight. Of course, the Celtic players just taking their tracksuit tops off, and they will go into the huddle, which will be illuminated as always. That's even a special sight in itself. So Scott Brown will go in to do the preliminaries with the referee and the captain for St Johnstone. St Johnstone come into this game in back of decent form. They lost at the weekend against Tynecastle, but since that 6-0 thrashing at McDermott Park, they've actually won 9 of their 14 games. Celtic have won 10 of the 14. So the manager said, Tom, it was a kind of key pivotal moment for both sides for different reasons.
Yeah, and I think it did. They go on it, they kicked on. It certainly helped St Johnstone for what we were producing beforehand. I think they were going through the motion, and I think that probably was a clear the air meeting for them, and then you've seen what they went on to do, winning 6 consecutive away games. But I think for us it showed there's a little bit more invention for us, and certainly when we kicked on.
Well, there you have the green spotlight shining down on the Celtic players. It does look a wonderful sight, and I think this is the moment we all imagine what it's like to wear those night vision goggles, because that's what the site looks like, and it does look absolutely spectacular. Paradise packed tonight and looking for another victory. We've already had 3 in 2019. We're going for 4 in a row.
Yeah, and certainly on current form and what we're showing, you would imagine St Johnstone will be able to come out a little bit more against us, because both Hamilton, St Mirren and Airdrie didn't cause us too many problems.